You're listening to the Last Man In podcast. Covering Winnipeg hockey and the NHL.
Scheifele dances his way in. Scheifele scores! Mike Wheeler finds the far corner. And the Winnipeg Jets win it in overtime. Woo, woo, woo.
Last Man In, episode 163, the official start to preseason hockey. Now, are you guys prepared? Because something is going to happen tomorrow or Saturday, like a Matt Duchene trade. Because after our last podcast, what happened, Cameron?
A lot of things happened.
Bryan Little got signed. Or
David
extended.
Pasternak got signed. Extended.
Big things. And
Big.
obviously preseason hockey started earlier this week. Jets have now, they're playing their third game today, so we're going to cover the first two games.
Yep.
Talk about them a little bit. And obviously talk about the Bryan Little contract. I think that's the easiest thing to talk about. And then also, question that I don't think I've asked or that we've talked about here is which goalie should get the start against Toronto next in 2 weeks here.
Easy answer.
Save it.
Yep. Okay.
And then obviously we want to move on, talk about hockey in China for the NHL. Move on to Las Vegas, absolutely dominating so far in preseason. And Dan corralling his animals to go upstairs. Because
look at how quick he didn't even bark. But he didn't even bark. That's so impressive. He said an arm motion and he went and did it.
I know.
Very impressive.
Amazing.
I like it.
Fourth wall breakdown. Your cat's going to take down that tree.
That's a big tree.
I don't care. That cat's climbing it.
For the audio listeners, there's a tree about 7 feet tall. And Dan's cat is roughly 50 pounds of fury.
I give up.
It's maybe 3 pounds.
He weighs 2.5 pounds.
2.5. There we go.
Soaking wet.
Close.
Terrifying being.
Okay, and then I think we also have to talk about the Joffrey Lupul situation. I know I hate bringing the Leafs into this action.
No, but this involves the NHL.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Lupul Lou is trying to get away with something, but we're going to touch on that, including a couple other signings.
Cheating is a serious offense, guys.
So let's start today's podcast with the Bryan Little extension. 5 years, 6 years. 5.2916666 repeating.
Yep.
Per season. Mm-hmm. Bit of a raise from what he was getting before. What do you guys think about it?
Too long.
So it's the length.
The cap hit's spot on, I think, for what he does.
Yeah.
But yeah, the problem is he's going to be 36 when the contract's up. That's the problem.
I originally had an issue with...
They're overpaying him in 5 years to get market value for him for the next couple of years. The next 2 or 3 years, it'll be a good deal, but they're probably going to be overpaying after that. If that makes sense.
Sort of like Bufflin.
Yeah.
Where you're just overpaying from day one.
They're paying probably market value for his prime years right now, but in probably 3 years, it's probably going to be a bit of an overpay.
But that's kind of the cost, because
what you have.
You got to look at the analysis and say, how much longer is this team going to... If you don't sign a guy like Bryan Little, where do you get his contribution from if you're going to be entering your prime in the next 3 years to win a cup?
Well, and there's no one on the roster that's going to take that spot in the next 2 years.
No. And losing him next year, regardless, you wouldn't get any closer to winning a cup or even being a contender in the playoffs. Let's say this season goes south. And I've been an advocate of both sides of this deal, and I've got my own opinion about it. But let's say this season goes south, Jets finish in third last, and they let Bryan Little go at the end of the year. Who do you get, and without signing a free agent, who fills that role? And it's a very tough role to fill. Do you trust Matthew Perreault to step in there? Is Jack Roslovic going to step in there? And these are the types of questions that management had to ask. And I think that's why they acted so swiftly at getting him signed before the season started. Personally, I would have evaluated it midseason. Because at some point, if things aren't working for this franchise, for this team, there has to be a shakeup somewhere. He was one of the guys that you have an easy out with. You have the ability to just shed ties with him. Let's say things go south this year. You could have lost Little. Granted, great player. He's on the back of my jersey. I had nothing. I love Little. Probably my favorite second-line center in the NHL. But with that being said, could you have gone out and gotten somebody else? do they eventually need to change the core of this team? Because realistically, you could have lost Little, you could trade away Blake Wheeler, probably would have traded Bryan Little at the trade deadline. Now you don't have that out if this team does poorly. That's my only issue with this deal. Love the money, love the term. Just don't like the timing.
Yeah, I was surprised. I thought they'd wait till at minimum trade deadline, and then because like you said, just evaluate the season. What happens if they don't make the playoffs this year? Now they're committed to him for 6 years. Yes, they can still move him, but why sign a guy? Something tells me that even if they don't make the playoffs, they wouldn't move him now because they just committed to him for 6 years.
Yeah, there's no way they're moving him.
And he's even saying he's even gone as far to say like when this contract's expired, he still wants to stay here. Like he wants to play here for the rest of his career. So I feel like
draft pick?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I feel like they've tied their horse to him, which is fine because honestly, if they didn't make the playoffs this year and let him go, and had to find someone or couldn't find someone to fill that hole, they would be worse off next year without him.
Oh, 100%. I agree with you. Yeah.
I mean, it's probably one of those we'll sign him now in 3 or 4 years. If it's a problem, we'll worry about it then.
He's a guy that can score 30, and on a regular basis, when he's in the lineup, scores 20 to 25. And that's hard. That's hard to find.
And you see guys like two guys that jump off the top of my head just because they're on the top of my head, and I get that they're defensemen, but Brett Burns is going to be making $8 million till he's 40 years old, which when he's in his late 30s probably won't be a good deal. And Vlasic is going to be making $7.5 million when he's in his late 30s. So every team does it. You overpay it for future years to get market value for what they're going to do right now. So
yeah, no, normally, I mean, well, yeah, I'll just even use the example of with the Philadelphia Flyers. They have 2 contracts that kind of aren't looking fantastic, and that would be Giroux and Voracek. They're both getting paid upwards of $8 million, and they still have Giroux. I think they both have 5 years left on their contract. No, Voracek's got 6, Giroux's got 5, and it's just like they're going downhill real south. Not that
Downhill real south?
real
down.
stuff.
Yeah, I
They're
can't
going so downhill that the only way is south.
That's
Is this a new saying?
That's it.
Is this what the kids are saying?
It's catching on.
It's like fleek or woke.
Or lit.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
lit.
Lit's 2016.
I think Lit's passed.
Okay.
I think it's
What's the new one?
woke.
Woke, yeah, stay woke for that one.
Really? Who picks these?
The internet.
But who? I want to know.
The same people that picked Donald Trump as your president.
America.
I don't think so.
No, it's not.
I don't know if it's
It's
the
not
exact
the same people.
But to what I was gonna just say about Little, apart from it's more. I'm totally fine with the money. It's the length. But the more I looked at it, and the more I looked into it, okay, 6 years, right?
Do we get scared?
But you have to keep.
Do we get scared as fans when we see a contract go over 35? Is that like an ageist thing where we're like, oh, once he hits 35, he's gonna?
Well, because
suck?
once you're over
think the
35,
bigger-
it's a guaranteed contract.
The bigger
I know that,
concern
but I'm just
is not him signing. It's the guys that they're going to have to sign in the next year. On top of this, and the fact that they're in a position right now where they put all their chips on the table. They've come out as an organization and said they have to make the playoffs this year. Anything else is a failure. So, now that he's locked up, if it doesn't work, are you going to get rid of Patrick Laine or Nikolai Ehlers because those guys are expiring? No, you're not. Are you going to get rid of Jacob Trouba? No, unless he doesn't want to be here anymore.
Get rid of Mark Scheifele.
But you also have to.
Best
But keep in mind, Toby Enstrom is making $575 this year. He's not next year, so you're basically just replacing. You're actually saving a little bit of money, but you're just replacing his cap hit with Bryan Little. So really, they're going to be in the same spot, salary wise. So I don't know.
Well,
And
basically
you have
what
to
it
keep in mind
is
too that he's the one centerman on their team that's actually decent at faceoffs right now.
how dare you?
And
take
he
that away from
plays.
Matt
He
Hendricks.
plays all. He plays PK. He plays power play.
He plays every position. He's been here since day one, literally, like Atlanta day one. And what's it called? What was I going to say? Basically, the reason, it's just a term that scares me away. I guess over 35, really. But also, because when I first saw the contract, I was like, well, I really didn't like the contract to begin with. But then it was pointed out by, you guys, just saying, well, who else is going to play his position? For the next 2 years, no one's even close to him. And then after that, hopefully the cap goes up a bit. Who cares about $5 million in the long run? For 3 years, $5 million isn't terrible. I'll use Andrew McDonald. The Flyers have been bearing that contract for the last 2 years, and it's on the last year right now. So what's 3 years of bearing a contract?
The other thing, too, is you have to compare it to other second-line centers in the league. I'm not talking the Evgeny Malkin, Leon Draisaitl second-line centers. I mean the legitimate second-line centers in the NHL. There's not a lot. When you think about a second-line center, there's not a ton. But Bo Horvat.
Or I was just going to say.
Mikko Koivu.
Who just signed.
5.5. 5.5,
So
exactly.
comparable money.
Tyler Bozak, I would say they're comparable players. Tyler Bozak makes about $1 million less, but I think that's because of the contract, not.
And see, I'm going to argue that if you're getting Koivu and you're getting Horvat for 5.5, then getting Little for 5.29 is a steal. Because I would rather have
it's a good deal.
I'd rather have him over both those guys.
Actually,
because I feel like Horvat's still at the young end of his career, hasn't quite hit that level, and I feel like Koivu's kind of on the tail end. So,
I think I'm okay with the Horvat signing if Horvat's not on the Canucks, because let's be honest here, the Canucks.
But has he really earned 5.5? I don't think so. Not yet.
Maybe if he was on a different team.
The fact that he's on it.
Little's career high in points is 64.
Yeah. No, and nothing.
Nope.
I think he's a very valuable player, but when you compare him to the other players in the league, and I would almost put even Nazem Kadri on that same playing level as a true second line center. There's not a ton in the NHL. When you look down rosters, they either have 2 first line centers or they don't really have a solid. They have a number one and then nothing else. Like strong teams have 2 good guys down the middle. You have Taves and Kane when Kane plays middle. Like sometimes he plays center, sometimes he plays wing.
Yeah, rare.
It's rare, but he does. But you've seen that team kind of fall off. They don't really have a second line center there right now.
Well, I went through every I was with the replacement, and we went through every NHL team, their second line center just on paper. I think I picked Bryan Little over everyone except because on paper it was Malkin.
Draisaitl.
Kuznetsov. Yep, yeah. I think those are I think there's maybe 4 of them.
And realistically, this is the type of signing it's depth signing, and the problem with Bryan Little the last couple seasons, in all honesty, has been his health. He's caught a little bit of the injury bug, but whenever he's in the lineup, he contributes, and that's what's so good about him is he's such a strong contributor whenever he's in the lineup. We all remember the little Ad Wheeler days. It was the only line that scored.
And I think it's probably a lot to do, when they signed Maurice, you heard a lot of, the players wanted him. I wouldn't be surprised if the players wanted Bryan Little.
You never hear anything about him outside of at hockey, ever. Which means out of sight, out of mind, fantastic. I think he has a kid now. So it might be fine.
Maybe.
He has a very
quiet
quiet personality.
And also keep in mind, he lives in Western Ontario, so he's close to home.
Yeah,
so that that probably for him is,
Yep.
a plus. So I have no problem with it. I'm surprised. I thought it would happen at the end of the year, or halfway through if they were in a playoff spot. Then they'd pull the trigger on it.
Yeah. Well, basically to sum up, we're okay with the money. Contract scares us a bit, but we all we're not shocked by it. We're more of, as we all agreed, probably would have waited till halfway through the year to kind of think about this one.
But I think this shifts the full focus now. The interesting one to watch now will be Jacob Trouba.
And Nikolai Ehlers, in all honesty.
Ehlers too, but Trouba more so because there's still the uncertainty of whether he really wants to stay here, whether he's happy. He says he is, but is he really?
Is he just saying it so he doesn't have to deal with the question?
Allegedly,
yeah, that question is tough to deal with.
Allegedly, coming from his mouth, they talked about they talked about an extension over the summer. Nothing came of it, but they were talking. So I don't know if that's a good sign that he was willing to talk about it, but
I'm sure he wants to set his.
The interesting thing is going to be if the trade deadline comes and they're in a playoff spot. Do they sign him, or if they're not able to sign him, what do you do? Do you ride it out, make the playoffs, see what happens, and then hope you can sign him, or do you have to get rid of him?
Well, he's an RFA. You keep him.
That's true.
Keep him for your ride.
That's true. I forgot. About that.
Even if he's a UFA, I still think because you're allowed that a lot of time. You need your best team if you're going into the playoffs. I don't know who you'd get for Jacob Trouba, but I'm assuming it'd be probably 2 youth pieces and maybe a draft pick. So probably prospects and a draft pick.
Yeah.
Maybe, like...
And the reason I asked, too, is because the year that they traded Evander Kane and Bogosian, that was the year they made the playoffs. Like, they were in a playoff spot, and they made a big change to their team. So that's why I'm wondering,
but
what do you do?
So it's
I
all about the value coming back.
I thought he was a UFA. I forgot he's an RFA. So.
Regardless, I think even if he was a UFA for all intents and purposes, the thing would be that you still got to write it out because it doesn't. Whatever you're getting in return does not replace the hole that is left. Because whether it be Tucker Poolman, Ben Sherratt, Jan Kostelek, Nelson Noje, whoever it might be that'd be coming in to fill that hole in the lineup, maybe not necessarily his role, just that spot in the lineup is not as good as Jacob Trouba. Whoever else you're bringing over isn't going to be as good as Jacob Trouba, unless you're getting a Mark-Edward Vlasic, which you're not going to. But it's very tough to replace that, especially going into the playoffs.
Oh no, I agree.
And so, even if he was a UFA, I would still write it out all year, and you hope you sign him. And if you don't, well,
take
the hit. Take the hit, and it's
like you said,
it's risk reward.
Like you said, he's an RFA, so if he gets an offer sheet, you can match it or you're getting compensation. So
yeah, the thing about offer sheets is they're kind of in the past now because teams really have seen the
The downfall?
The outcome.
Well, and the
outcome of just building through the draft.
And the price is ridiculous. Like, would you give up 4 first-round picks for a defenseman? Like, 4 years of first-round picks for one player.
Depends,
right?
It
depends
because
who
it's
the player
7.
is.
No, but if you go out there, you sign Jacob Trouba at $7.5 million. I believe it's 2 firsts and a second, and 2 firsts and a second.
But you're giving up 2 years of first-round picks.
But you're banking on the fact your team's going to be good.
Well, and to me,
so like. In all reality, let's pretend here for a second. If you're Chicago and you somehow get rid of Brent Seabrook, so you need a new right-handed shot, you already know your team is good enough, but you want to go for that long last stretch. Are you not going to sign him for $7.5 million? Now, there's nothing saying that the Jets wouldn't just be like, yep, whatever, because it's almost in the Jets' best interest that he signs an offer sheet that's reasonable. Right, like that's $7.5 million, $7 to $7.5, because the Jets are gonna match it.
But the reason there's not reasonable offer sheets.
No,
that's
really, Paul Holmgren, really,
yeah. Yes,
$14 million a season.
There it is.
It's a front-loaded contract. It's smart.
Yeah, those aren't allowed.
He was
anymore.
trying to fold Nashville as a franchise.
Did he?
No.
Who's been to more Stanley Cup Finals since?
I think they've tied since they signed.
Okay. Both at one? I don't know when the signing happened.
No, yeah, I guess Nashville has one.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Shows you how far Philadelphia's fallen.
Well, I think something happened in the city of Nashville to Paul Holmgren. I think he just hates country music, and that's why he's like, you know what, let's just close it so I never have to go there. And he's like, how much is the team getting paid? 13? 14. It's 14. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. How'd they do in the preseason games?
So, they lost the first game in a shootout to the Minnesota Wild. The Minnesota Wild didn't really play anybody of note. Mm-hmm. The Jets did. It's not cause for concern, but it's fun to make fun of Jets fans for.
I was at the game on Monday.
Wait, hold on. There were upgrades.
I didn't see any of the game last night, but I was at the game Monday.
Okay.
There were cosmetic upgrades.
How's the new look?
It looks really stylish and really like state of the art and sleek. It's a bit different. Like the scheme they have it makes it look darker in the concourse, so it looks a little smaller almost. The lighting is blue. Like a lot of the lighting is blue, I guess, to go with the Jets. And then the majority of the floors and walls are redone in like a silver, kind of to match the silver on their jerseys, I guess.
Oh,
it looks really stylish.
Silver.
Yep.
The big Tim Hortons in the 300 section, though, and it was in the corner, plenty of room to line up. Yeah, they put it on like the side, by like in like a normal sized booth, because that's gonna work well.
Because it's about.
Oh, also now you can only get large drinks at Tim Hortons. That's it.
Yeah,
and they upped the prices like 10 cents ago.
$2.50 for large coffee.
10 cents ago. Wow.
Jeez, this is what we're complaining
And
about.
Greg said
It
it's
looked
all
good.
about this, and he did the money sign with his hands because it's true. But
They
it was
didn't
in
wanna
a
pay the
great
rent
position.
there.
It was out of the
wasn't-
way.
It wasn't. It was about how much money could they get from Tim
What
Hortons
do you
to
mean?
have that spot.
The lineup was huge every time, and now the lineup's going to block the sections. Like you won't even be
it's
able to
gonna be a
leave.
nightmare.
How's that not a fire code? They're going to have 100 people every
It's gonna be a
period,
nightmare.
year round, waiting
It's-
for Tim's. And now I can't leave Dan's seats and go right there and back in a minute.
No, it's BS.
Yeah, now we got how far is it? How many sections away? Left or right?
You're going the same way, but you have to keep going. And it's like I'd say like center ice.
Ah,
Hey, it's okay.
That's
we'll
at
see
least
it,
a minute
we'll
away.
See it in not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after.
I don't know what
Yeah,
they did to
we're
the
all-
one on the bottom. I don't know.
Are
But
we,
it got smaller. That's an issue. I don't like that.
We're wearing Leaf. gear,
Yes,
right?
oh yeah, I'm
Okay.
wearing my Kessel.
There you go.
If you already don't know, I'm pretty sure you've heard, but we're all three of us will be at the Jets home opener. Dan will be the Jets fan. Greg and I, Aussie Mathman fans.
Picture has to be taken.
With all of us, yeah, 100%. We have to do that.
If I'm there, I haven't confirmed it, but if I'm there,
Oh,
we can do it.
Dan will find a way. He'll be there.
I'll
Don't
be
you
there.
worry.
We'll sneak him in.
I'll figure it out.
Security's not great, so it's
That's
not
true.
hard. Have you ever been wanded, by the way? Like, on the way in, you know
Oh,
how
yeah.
they walk you through?
Yeah.
I know this isn't metal. I know metal detectors pick up metal. But I went to a concert and I didn't realize that I had a full bag of gummy bears in my back pocket. They patted me down, didn't touch my back pocket, walked in with a full bag of gummy bears.
Oh man. Oh.
I saved
You must
$6. I was jacked.
You must be like that kid that would sneak in stuff to the movie theater thinking, "Oh my god, I'm so sneaky."
Oh,
when
yeah.
they're like, they don't give a shit.
They used
Yeah.
to.
They used
When
to.
I was a kid, they
Or
cared.
did they actually, or were we
yeah.
scared? Because I've walked in with a full pizza, like in the
Yeah,
middle
but-
of the
yeah.
afternoon.
No.
like,
Oh, I'm gonna
What
bring my
I have
little
been
Caesar's
told
hot and
now-
ready here.
exactly what it was.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
pepperoni.
apparently now you can bring anything they don't sell there. You can bring in.
So you're
literally-
telling me I can't
so
pop my own
literally,
popcorn and
You
bring
can
it?
literally bring anything in because they only sell movie theater stuff. So you can literally bring anything in.
So
Bring your
you're
popcorn.
telling me that if I bring microwave popcorn, be like, your popcorn's kettle cooked, mine's microwave.
I don't know.
Microwave popcorn.
You're gonna have to
Do it. Let's
My
test it
Act
out.
1. Here we
fight that
go.
battle.
Let's
And let
test
me
it
know
out,
how it
Some
goes.
Orville Redenbachers.
Fight that battle. And let me know how it goes.
I will. I'll just escalate it to the manager. Cam's done it before.
I had to do it when we went.
See, what you
I was
do is
very
if you're bringing
upset.
something in that you don't think you're supposed to have, you just stare at them and you wait for them to make the first move. And you just keep staring and you walk right past.
Don't
See,
even
it's all
blink.
high school kids. It's all high school kids, and I'll be like, "You're gonna tell me, 5 foot nothing, little bitch."
No, you just walk.
Is that
right-
mean? Fight me, little bitch.
sir, you can't bring that in. Bring one in. Just keep going.
Yeah.
What are they gonna do?
I carried water bottles now,
Throw you out?
pizzas.
Where's your ticket? What ticket? I'm going
You
to
know
see
what I-
Star Wars. Star Wars hasn't come out for 2.5 months. I'm going to see
I'm getting
Star
ready.
You
Wars.
ever pull the you buy a ticket to a movie and
Yes.
then you just like theater hop on that?
No,
outside
I've
theater?
always wanted to.
I never
I've done
did
it.
it. I
I've
thought
done it.
about
You know what I
it.
want to do? I want to buy a senior price ticket and
Done
see
it before too.
$3 cheaper, right?
No.
Dude, go on Tuesday. Like I went on Tuesday once. We saw like 3 movies. We were there all day, but it was great.
Oh,
Um,
I do it quite often.
I
movies
definitely
for the price
definitely
of
remember
1.5.
it was what movie was it? It might have been like Sin City or something, like a rated R movie. And it was like A Bug's Life, and we're like, well, we don't want to fucking see Bug's Life, but we're
Yeah.
gonna get a ticket for Bug's Life.
Yeah.
Because it was just across, and we're like, and the guy's just standing there like, we'll wait. And they had a guy standing out the door the entire time. We're like, so now we have to sit through a Bug's Life. It wasn't a Bug's Life, but it was like a rated G movie. We're like, this is terrible. But I did do it once.
Yeah.
Or the
You
old,
didn't ask for your money back. Be like, sorry, I bought the wrong ticket.
or the other one was.
We wasn't old enough. That was the
Do you remember the other trick with the? You buy like 2 tickets and then you get somebody go in the bathroom and then you sneak back with like 2 more.
No, I was never cool enough to get invited to movies, so I didn't go.
We did that with Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. It was a terrible decision to go see that movie.
How dare you?
and
How
and
dare
Spider-Man
you?
3.
Do you know what's a terrible decision? Transformers 5. Holy shit.
I haven't seen that yet.
I saw it on cheapie night. It was
Awful.
worth. It was worth the cheapie.
Okay, the first 4 movies, they got terrible reviews, but I still found a way to enjoy them. I tried to like this one. I couldn't.
Yeah,
I
this is-
can't-
It was
I can't
all
like
over the
that.
place, and there was no cohesion.
Okay.
It was like Batman versus Superman cohesion, but 100,000 times worse.
So like half of this stuff wasn't happening in dreams. Mark Wahlberg wouldn't just like randomly wake up and
No,
be
like-
like, "Am I in a dream or not? Is this Inception or Batman vs Superman?
I'm pretty sure there isn't a scene longer than a minute and a half in that movie, and it's just like bam, 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 bam,
Oh, yeah.
bam, and you're like, I don't know what's happening.
Okay, there's this one scene.
So it's like a jump cut movie?
Yeah, it's like Anthony
terrible.
Hopkins. There's one scene, he's in it, and he's like,
It's terrible.
if we don't fix this, it's going to be the end of the world. Jump cut. Mark Wahlberg, the 10 seconds after that line just happened, if we don't stop this, it's going to be the end of the world. And you're like, I just heard this line.
And then Optimus Prime is like, it's the end of the world. I remember when we prophesized this.
I will say, though, Anthony Hopkins' character was awesome.
Oh, he was sweet.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
He was only in 3 jump cut scenes, which allotted all
No, he
2.5
was actually in the
minutes.
movie quite a bit.
We have to bring it
Hilarious.
back. I
Anyways.
cut Dan off about the upgrades. So, upgrades good? Otherwise?
Yeah, they're good. They'll take some getting
The
used.
game. How was the game? They lost 3-2 in a shootout. They had
How
their
are the
A
new
squad.
Adidas jerseys look?
They look no different
Okay,
at all.
that's what I thought.
Okay,
Zero difference.
I know the Jets had their A squad.
game-
Minnesota had like C team. They were bad.
The Jets dressed their top 9 forwards. Their fourth line was, I believe, Brendan Lemieux. Who else?
So what was their
Matthias?
third line?
Marco Dano and someone else.
What was their third line?
Connor, Lowry, Armia, which is
Okay.
what I think their third line is.
I was
gonna be.
hoping he would say Cop.
No, Cop. I don't think has. You think he played one game?
Yeah, because he's already going to be on the team. Slide
They
him on the
dressed
third line.
Bufflin and Enstrom. They did dress Tucker Poolman and Logan Stanley, who I thought both looked fine. You know, I'd say Logan Stanley definitely going to go back to junior, but he didn't look terribly out of place. Tucker Poolman, I think he'll go to the AHL, but I don't think he's far off from. Like if he had to come up in a pinch and play right away, I think he'd be fine. He's a big kid, and positionally seems to know where he's supposed to be.
So you're telling me that what hand does he shoot? Right or left?
He was playing with Toby, so right.
Okay, so what you're telling me is
So it's going to take one of the 3
He's
righties going down. But
going to be Dustin Bufflin's replacement when we trade him later this season for Jordan Eberle.
maybe
Why would you?
Why would they
Dustin
trade Eberle
Bufflin
twice
for
in a
Jordan
year?
Eberle?
I don't know.
that's dumb.
That's just what I came off the top of my head. I'm like, who else?
Everyone on the Islanders, and you pick Eberle.
We're not getting John Tavares.
Obviously,
The
but
guy
like
that
go
they
after
just
their young
got.
guys. Beauvillier.
Josh Hosang, because he'd be loved.
Why don't we
here.
just pick a different team to trade with than the frickin' Islanders?
Okay, fine.
That'd be great.
Whoa, now we have an issue with what do you have with the Islanders, Dan?
I
What's
talked about
wrong?
this at the beginning of the year.
No, you didn't. What was it? Say it real quick.
Nothing. I just think they're hot trash now.
Oh, okay.
They were really good
No,
like
no, I
2 or
got
3
you.
years ago. Now they're
Okay,
just
what
hot
if
garbage.
what if we try to trade him somewhere? He blocks that trade, just like Jason Demers did.
Okay, say that. We got to wrap up.
The game was fine. Like they outplayed Minnesota. They had like 48 shots on goal. I mean, you can say it's alarming that they didn't win when Minnesota didn't really like. I think Minnesota's best player was Tyler Ennis. Like in terms of who they dressed, like they didn't dress a lot of anybody really. So, I mean, the Jets could have won the game. They had lots of chances. There's a lot of penalties. Lots of penalties.
Yeah, because
So
of
you're
that
telling
new
me like
face-off
Jets
rule.
thing. So what is the new face-off rule?
Explain, because I don't really
From
understand.
the bare minimum of what I picked up on, the rule has always been, you know what, like this face-off dot and then the red lines? You have to
Yeah.
keep your stick behind the red line,
Yeah.
and then you have to, your legs and your feet cannot be, like your legs have to be off to the side of the red line and behind the red line, and then when the ref establishes, that's when you can put your stick to go win the face-off.
Oh, okay.
Now, if your feet are touching the red line, like either like vertically or
Oh
horizontally.
my god, it's so, okay. Yeah,
It's
okay,
dumb.
I know that rule. So
No, hold on. If you get whistled, like first guy gets tossed, and then the second guy gets tossed, delay of game penalty.
Oh, my
Apparently,
goodness.
this has always been a rule,
that
but
was
they
the
weren't
rule.
enforced.
There was a rule last year where if you got tossed and someone else came in and they got tossed, you did get a penalty.
Yeah,
So
but
that's
now,
not new.
But now it's a
the-
frequency of how fast people are getting tossed the first time.
And the other thing is they're cracking down on slashing.
good.
That's why there were so many penalties, because I think Minnesota had 9 and we had 7, and they were mostly slashes. Like apparently they've been told to call everything. Case
Set
in
a
point.
standard.
Case in point, one of the Jets guys was coming back. He was the last guy back. He picked up his puck. He picked up the puck just inside the blue line on his own end, and he did a curl to go up the ice. And there was the guy coming the other way. And you know how like 100 times out of 100, the opposing guy is going to give the guy a little whack when he goes by. They call that every time.
Okay.
So they're cracking down.
Well, one of my favorite lines, and I've played hockey with people of all ages. I'm 26 now. But I've played with guys who are like 40, 50, including my dad who's over 60 now. And he says if the guys slash like they do now back then, there'd be a lot less guys that are like playing hockey now because they just get the shit kicked out of them.
Oh, and I think
because the slashing has gotten because back when my dad played, the slashing was sticks. Like everything was sticks. Now it's like arms, body. Like you go in the corner because you're not going body contact first. You're going stick first. Like you're not trying your body first into the boards. You're going, I'm going to slash your stick and take the puck.
That's what they used to do.
That's what they do now.
Okay.
It's first contact is always stick on stick. Back then they would find a way, how do I put my body into this? But because there's so many things preventing that, like there's more slashing now than there used to be. And because hooking was such a big thing back then, all they do is they do a little, I'm going to put a hook in you and then be able to kind of corkscrew you, but not really corkscrew you to get a penalty. To be able to get my position. Now all positioning is done through stick battles.
You know who's
Instead,
going to love these new
of
slashing rules? Corey Perry and Ryan Kessler, because they're going to get a lot of penalties.
Would you take Ryan Kessler or Bryan Little on your team as a number 2 center?
I took Kessler over Little.
Okay. That's a tough one.
Still a brutal contract, though. Like, for Kessler,
I take Little. I think he...
The thing that pushed me for Kessler over Little was just the fact that every time he's on the ice, everyone knows
yeah,
he's
but
there.
Kessler's also 3 years older and making more. So if you're looking at that contract...
I still take Kessler.
I wouldn't.
But that's just because of the factor that he brings
it's
in.
Tough.
Skill-wise,
overall, the game on Monday, though, as a team, they looked fine. Patrick Laine proved that if he's left wide open, he'll score a ton of goals again. Brendan Lemieux looked really good.
Actually...
Like really good. I thought he was probably the most pleasant surprise in that game. He looked pretty good.
He also had a fight.
He did have a fight. He had he was hitting. He was playing penalty kill. He had a couple odd man rushes. He was effective, and I wouldn't be surprised if he continues to play that well. If he's going to be close cut to make the team, and he could be a perfect because they don't really have. I don't want to say like a goon or an enforcer, but they don't really have an energy physical guy now. I mean, Chris Thorburns gone, Peluso's gone,
Matt Hendricks.
Well, yes, but Brendan Lemieux's. I mean, he's a lot younger. He's quick, so I mean, he could be a guy to fill that role. Kind of that little, like he's got that Brad Marchand, not the dirty side of Brad Marchand, but the little like pinball side of Brad Marchand.
So you're telling me he doesn't have the dirtiness of Brad Marchand, but he also doesn't have the ability to score 40 goals. So he's just got the mediocre part.
Probably not, but I mean, he's already fought once. So he's already fought once more than Brad Marchand ever will. So
Brad Marchand fights all the time.
Yeah, sure.
I think he's implying he's got the nose of Brad Marchand.
No, I'm just saying he's got the similar like he can get under. He can get under people's skin. He hits everybody.
Oh yeah.
So
he could be when people hit, you get under someone's skin pretty quickly.
He could be a kind of an injection of energy on the fourth line, maybe.
Okay, second preseason game.
They lost 4-1 to the Oilers. Pretty much the only highlight in this game, apparently, I heard, was the way the Jets played in the first period. Apparently,
the first period was fantastic, and then they kind of.
I didn't see anything.
Declined. I didn't either.
I didn't either.
I was at dinner last night.
Oh. Well, I was at a concert with Dan. If we're all saying what we were doing.
Yeah. Well, I wanted
we went
to feel
Dolly
special.
Parton, and it was fantastic.
Hey, we offered you a ticket. You don't want to go?
No, I had a work dinner. I had a work dinner.
It's fine. Where'd you go?
The Keg Steakhouse and Bar.
That's what I asked him earlier.
It was delicious.
What'd you get?
Peppercorn steak.
What'd you get on your sides?
Asparagus.
And?
No, you just get one.
You only get one?
You only get one.
Have you ever eaten at the
That
Keg?
means it's a fancy place. I've been there once. I told Greg the story. I wanted chicken fingers. They didn't have it, so I ordered like the chicken Thai thing. I didn't like it.
Because he had his heart set on chicken.
I wanted chicken.
Have you ever had your heart set on something and you've gotten the opposite thing?
Well, it's not the opposite, but
I feel that way with the way the Jets are treating Kyle Connor. I want Kyle Connor to be a Moose player, but it looks like he's going to be a Winnipeg Jet this season.
And you thought I was crazy.
You know
I'm
what?
sorry. He looked really good in that preseason game.
Greg, that's
he looked really good.
Hey, the season hasn't begun yet. We wait until he hits the 9-game mark. Actually, it doesn't matter. But you know what? Until he plays 20 games, then I still will not apologize to Dan, but we've gone hard in the paint on Dan 2 years in a row now.
Yeah.
Ottawa last year, and now Kyle Connor
And what
this
happened
year.
with Ottawa?
He keeps burning us.
They were a goal away from the final.
He went hard in the paint about Jamie Benn and and fucking Tyler Seguin. So we're allowed to go hard in the paint every once in a while too.
What did I go hard in the paint about them for?
Because remember, way back in the day, you're like, take away Bennett Sagan, and then we're like, fine, take away Buff and Wheeler, and you're like, you can't do that. It was a big argument.
A couple of years ago, if you took away those two guys, that team had nothing.
But our argument wasn't that. It's like,
no, we can't relive this again.
We're not. We're not going there.
I'll give game 20. The game 20th
I
game,
rest
how
my case
Connor
because they're
plays.
the only team that's gone from dead last to first to dead last. So figure that one out.
They enjoy roller coasters.
They don't know how to play defense.
I want to read a quote by Mark Scheifele from last night. We just have to get the posts out of our system early. Mark Scheifele, when asked about 5 shots off the iron. Mark Scheifele's a liar. He's real good at hitting posts.
He hit 5 posts?
Apparently.
Nice.
Another one. Get used to these quotes by Steve Mason because he played last night and he played terribly. The first one is out of the way. Nice to get that one day.
What?
Stupid quotes that don't make sense.
At the end of the day, Mason. It's preseason. It doesn't matter, but I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit concerned that they pretty much played pretty close to a starting lineup the first 2 games. They played against teams who did not play close to a starting lineup, and they lost both games. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit nervous, but at the end of the day...
But here's the other question.
It's preseason.
If you're Mark Scheifele, Blake Wheeler, Patrick Laine, Nikolai Ehlers, you're this team's top 9. Are you really going into a preseason game saying, I'm going to give it my all today because I know this is playing for something? No. And that's the difference, is when you have guys, and probably the 12 guys that Minnesota fielded, maybe 2 of them have guaranteed jobs. The other guys are fighting for something to show a spark. So, yes, it's alarming, but at the same time, I don't think we should read too much into it because a lot of these guys have nothing to play for right now. They're not playing for standings. They're not playing for a spot in the playoffs. They're not even playing for a spot in the lineup. They know exactly what spot they're going to be in next year. So they don't need to be there.
maybe two roster spots that are up in the air right now? And
so
normally
it's almost
that's
like preseason shouldn't matter to the Jets, in all honesty, right
that's
now.
The thing, right? I mean, if they start the year flat, that's a different story. So,
but I like, if I'm the Jets and if I'm Paul Maurice, I'm not so concerned about what the score of the game is. I'm concerned about how are my guys conditioned? How are my guys prepping for the season? Are my guys doing the systems we're working on in practice and implementing that into the game? Are we making the right decisions? Because when you're off of hockey for a long period of time, and I know that we all play hockey here, and like if you don't play hockey for a little bit, it does take a little bit of time to rework your brain, rewire it to properly play and assess what you're doing and process every move you're making. So I don't think you should read too much into it, but at the same time, yeah. Just gets me into the last question before we move into the mailbag. Should the Jets start Steve Mason or Connor Hellebuyck first game against the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Connor Hellebuyck. Steve Mason's awful.
Well, yeah, there you go. We knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Dan, you can answer your question.
I mean, you can see how they play. I think it's going to be Steve Mason. You brought him in. He's going to be your number 1 goalie. As much as they say it's up in the air, he's going to be the number 1 goalie to start. However the season goes, whoever the hot guy is down the stretch is probably going to get most of the games, but I'd be surprised if they didn't start. I mean, unless Hellebuyck, plays unbelievably well throughout the preseason, but even then, I think Steve Mason gets the
nod.
Gets the game.
Greg, go ahead.
I'm just entertained from what's going on upstairs with all the banging crashing. All honesty, it's going to be Steve Mason. I wouldn't mind seeing it being Connor Hellebuyck, but I think Steve Mason gets it for the same reason Dan said. Like, they signed him in the offseason. You're not going to sign a goalie and not give him the start, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I would prefer Connor Hellebuyck starting it. I would actually, if it was my decision to make, which it's not because I'm not a part of the Jets organization, but I would start Connor Hellebuyck at the beginning of the year and let him have the job until he loses it.
See, I think they're gonna I can almost.
But that would be the way I would do it.
I think Steve Mason starts game 1. I think Connor Hellebuyck starts game 2. No matter what happens.
Yeah.
Or
vice versa.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna flip him for the first few games, and then I think they'll probably ride with the guy that's played better. But I have one more Jets thing to talk about quickly before we move on. So
talk about other hockey.
This is interesting.
Better teams.
Wait, hold on. Before we move on, and Dan says, you know what? I change it. I'd like to have Steve Mason in net So
Toronto can win.
when Austin Matthews scores another 4 goals to the first game of the season, they're all shelved on Mason because he's awful
How great would that be if he did it again?
against the Jets.
I haven't even thought about what would
Yeah,
happen
but if he
that
does
happened.
4, Liney's doing 5.
Well, here's the
Yeah,
thing.
but what
Here's
if
my
Liney
theory
scores
about
another
them.
hat trick? What are you going to do then?
I'll probably
I'm not throwing my hat. I will
I'll probably
not do
come
it.
on here and rant again like I did last year.
Anyways, so the
Go.
Jets reached out to the NHL over the summer. They, in an attempt to try and help cut down the number of penalties the team is taking, Paul Maurice apparently talked to the NHL, and the NHL has arranged Paul Dvorsky. He is a retired official now, but he will be attending their training camp this week. He will be essentially on the ice with them for their practices, and he will be watching. Like, they'll be doing 1-on-1 battles, 2-on-1 scrimmages. He'll basically be watching and tell them where they're taking all their penalties and how they can avoid them. Basically a way for the players to learn what they're doing that's causing all these penalties, and then so that they can try and break these habits. Now, allegedly, they said that they arranged this before, because there's been a ton of penalties called in the preseason because of all these slashing restrictions. Like, there's 50 penalties one night, and there were like 3 or 4 games. So, allegedly, this was set up before that because of all the problems they had last year, but I think that's interesting. I've never seen a team do that before.
Well, it's really I really like that. That's awesome because
Yeah.
it's being proactive to the issue that your team has been having the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Is Paul Maurice okay with having his replacement as coach on ice with him though?
Paul Dvorsky?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm just
You have to ask him. I don't know.
I know. Yeah, I'm gonna. Hey, Paul. Quick question. First off, where's your credentials, sir? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's like a movie theater, right? You just buy a ticket, go to the other one. It doesn't matter. It's my Bug's life. Yeah. Paul, are you okay with the other Paul eventually taking your job? Hey, excuse me. What's that?
All right.
Oh no, I really like that. That's awesome.
I
didn't
thought it was
hear about
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and you know what?
I've never heard of a team doing that.
Of
That's
any-
how
I
you
don't know.
solve a problem is be
Yes.
proactive about it.
Of
and not
any team in
reactive.
the NHL that would need help with penalties, Jets would be
They're the
number
one.
one for me.
Yes.
Just because we see it all too often.
Okay, moving on now to the newest NHL team, the Vegas Golden Knights. So they played their first preseason game last Sunday against the Vancouver Canucks. Now, they were given 2 softballs to start preseason this year. They were given the Canucks and the Avalanche. They put up 9 goals. 9.
On the Canucks.
How
on the
many
Canucks.
starters did Vancouver dress? Do you know?
The entire team, probably.
Probably.
Who else do they have?
Brock Besser started. We know that. Jordan Subban. Is it? Yeah, it's Jordan Subban.
Yeah.
He started. Jake Virtanen started.
Did B start?
Looks like that's pretty much it for Uli Ulevi had his first game as
Well, you're
well.
saying it wrong. It's Oli Ulevi.
They had
Go
some
try.
guy named Philip Holm play for him.
No relation. I've been asked many times.
Yeah, I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
I actually have. Yeah,
I mean, I saw
And
this
Thatcher
score.
Demko and Richard Bachman were the 2 goalies. So Thatcher Demko, the future, didn't really have a good game.
So essentially,
Tyler Wong got a hattie.
Tyler
Las
Wong
Vegas'
got a hattie.
prospects beat up on Vancouver's prospects.
Yeah, that's essentially the best way to put it.
I-
Brock Besser still had 3 points,
I don't.
regardless of this. Brock Besser's a very good hockey player.
Brock Besser had 3 points and they only
Yeah.
got 2 goals.
They lost 9-4.
Head for it.
Oh, jeez. I was
I
like,
don't
what
think
is
it-
Besser?
I don't think you can read too much into it. Obviously, it's preseason, but it just proves that Vancouver's going to be pretty bad,
And then
and Vegas is going to be bad.
and then they went into Colorado and beat them 4-1.
Is that really saying much?
Hey,
They get confidence boosters, okay? Everyone gets one.
they and the biggest kind of, well, not the biggest, but one of the big points of this game was it was Shipshaw's first North American game.
My favorite number 87 in the league.
Yeah, I believe that he was playing on line with Marcia Show and Riley
He's
Smith.
87.
Yeah, he's wearing number
Bastard.
87.
What do you mean that
Cheeky.
bastard? That's
No-
awesome.
Nobody else has done it since Sydney came in, has they?
No.
Not that I know of, no.
Yeah,
He's
so
my favorite number 87, automatically.
he's the best 87. So yeah, so the Vegas with 2 wins. Yeah, it's preseason. Don't read too much into it, but they're putting Shipachyov with Riley Smith and Jonathan Marchessault almost to troll Florida and be like, "Thanks for all the players, all of them."
You know what's super
We've been over
trolling?
this. Florida did not understand
Ship a
how
shot-
the draft worked.
No.
Didn't Florida go out after Shipachyov as well? We tried to get him?
Yeah. That's what makes it hilarious.
Yeah, Florida's like, I don't know the rules. Well, speak of Florida, what
The
was going
Jason
on?
Demers thing?
Yeah, what happened?
So the way I understand it was Florida tried to trade Jason Demers to Vancouver, and he straight for Eric Goodbranson back.
Okay.
Right the wrong.
And Jason Demers, I think, has a limited
Oh,
no trade
yeah, he
clause.
turned it down.
And he's like, no. I'm not going to play for that stockpile. Like that. That is terrible.
You know your team's bad when he refused to go there, but he would go to Arizona.
Exactly.
Arizona's not going to be terrible.
No, but they're not going to be good.
He wanted to
That
play
just
with
shows you
Jacob
how-
Chychrun.
That shows you how bad Vancouver is.
Well, we all knew that, though.
What is Dale Talon doing? He's a crazy man.
I would love to have him on.
Dale Talon?
Him versus... Like, I want to be a fly on that wall when they discussed between him...
We have to enact the phone call, you mean? Like, take a peek in?
I
Fly
feel
on
like
the
we
wall?
might have to.
Maybe one day, yeah.
Yeah,
I
maybe
don't
one
know
day.
who the Dale Talon... I don't know. I'll contact Jimmy.
That's
I'll see
up
if
to
he's
you.
got Dale's number.
See,
That's
I
bring
feel
him
like we have a good contact with Jimmy because he just was talking to Dale.
Yeah.
Maybe next episode. Maybe we'll set that.
I'll
up
see what I
next
can
episode.
do. I'll see what I
Okay.
can do with Jimmy. Yeah, Jimmy's been having a rough go lately.
Well, he tried to get Jason Demers.
Well,
so it
he's in
just didn't
China
work out
right
with him.
now, and apparently, I mean, according to him, they're fucking corn dogs. They're our fucking corn dogs, Cammy. What? Oh my god. It's like he's here.
Your impression of him is just amazing.
Yeah, it's a
Almost like you've been working on it for a while.
couple years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least a year.
Sorry to anybody new. They don't get the joke.
What if this is someone's first time? What if Jim Benning comes across this and he's like, hey, what the fuck? I do love corn dogs. They're delicious.
What if he sues us?
Oh, you can, for
slander.
defamation?
For what?
Oh no! I'm telling him what this was for.
I'm pretty sure.
Hold on, but you
I'm
might
going
as
to
well
go
let
on a
him
limb
know.
and say that 90% of Vancouver Canucks fans have
Oh.
defamed him more than we have. So
That's
we're
true.
probably okay.
We're being nice to him.
Yeah.
Wait until Christmas is
And
here.
then
He's
Jim's
getting a
like-
gift.
Jim's like, hey, they didn't talk about my favorite book.
Did he not eat pedigree dog food for Christmas last year?
Who's that?
Jim Benning?
No, he ate leftover mini cocktail weenies
Oh.
from the.
I thought he ate dog food.
Did he have dog food too? Probably.
I can't wait
He
for
was
this
in a
year.
dark place last year. Like,
Jimmy's
literally-
gonna hit-
Like, literally, he was in his apartment. I don't think the lights were on.
No, he was in the press box in the arena, and
There was no game on. He was just there.
That's great.
The janitor's cleaning up.
He put
Jimmy, you gotta go home. No,
I ain't doing it now.
you can't make me.
And he's like, hey, you want to hear my impression of Batman? Where's the corn dogs? Where do I find the limbs?
The best part is no one gets the Bo Horvat thing except for us because it was some stupid online meme
Jim
about
Benning
him.
hates vowels.
Exactly.
And like,
He doesn't
but we-
want to pay for vowels.
I didn't see that tweet beforehand, and then now it's real.
Yeah.
Like we're like, oh
Not
my
Jim
God.
Benning.
Yeah, not Jim Benning.
I haven't checked that Twitter account in a while. Let's see
He
what it
wanted to sign Jonathan Marshall show, but told him he had to go by John. Sure. There's no Marshall show.
You're gonna go by John.
How do you spell that?
M-S-S-S-S-S-S-S-S-S-S-S-S-S-S. One single T with a period at the end.
Why are vowels more expensive? Just because we're doing Wheel of Fortune rules?
Always is, yeah.
how it works.
He doesn't make the rules; he just follows them.
Does he when he goes up to buy something, he doesn't look at prices. He just prices right. He's like, that double cheeseburger, $5.
So that's $6.99.
Price right rules. Give me it for $5.
Woo! He slaps. No, yeah.
I'm
He
pretty
slaps
sure
a
that-
$5 bill down, and who's that guy? The Instagram guy who goes into stores and just steals stuff.
I don't know.
Boonk gang. God, I went down a rabbit hole the other day, and he just slaps a $5 down. And he's like, "Behind gang," and runs out. What the hell just happened?
Everyone's looking at him like,
He drives an Infinity, but it's actually just NFT. And there, yeah, INAEI.
no, it's NFT.
Yeah, NFT.
Guys, I'm gonna go hop in my Q50 X. Q50X.
Do you want to come sit in my Honda? Is
So I'm pretty sure that Twitter account was deleted. But I found another one. It's Jim Benning GM. It's a parody account. So he had a poll on June 23rd. It said, "What should I do today?" This is the day of the draft. What should I do today? Draft BPA at number 5. Trade up in the draft. Trade Tanev or quit.
all right. Sorry, sidetrack. Get that.
Speaking
back
of
on.
Vegas, or speaking of Vancouver, the other V team, China. NHL's gone to China for some preseason games ahead of the Olympics because this would have been a great marketing tool for the Olympics if the NHL players are going. Instead, do you feel like, I don't know if you guys remember this, but a few years ago when they did the Stockholm games, do you feel any excitement around them going to these places and playing meaningless hockey games?
No.
Not considering the last time they went, they did regular season games and these are preseason games. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they involve the Canucks.
Yeah,
Canucks
it's
and the
Canucks
Kings.
I mean,
I
and,
can't
and
really
like I get that the reason they're not going to the Olympics, it's not because it's in Korea, it's because they're not getting any revenue. Like there's 0 points in them going.
There's no benefit to the NHL.
There's no
There's
benefit.
only downside. There's no upside.
I think it's shitty. I don't like it, but I totally understand why the NHL doesn't want to go. It makes 100% sense.
Exactly.
But to do this, I mean, why not have the opening game of the regular season there nationally broadcasted on TV? I mean, put it on TV. Put it on TV in China. Like, have it mean something.
The goal of this is to grow the game to an international market that has billions of potential viewers or hundreds of millions of potential viewers. And I think it's falling flat, but I think it is a good first step. Obviously, this is only going to grow with time, I think, and we'll see how it works out. Because, as it's been said, whoever wins China, I think, wins the hockey battle between the KHL and the NHL.
Oh,
Go.
snap.
What happened?
Patrick Laine scored.
Okay, well, the Olympics, I guess
Minnesota won 1-0.
There's an official Twitter account for the Olympics.
All right, let's see.
They just tweeted out, breaking news, here are the medals for the Pyeongchang 2018. Good luck to all the athletes. And it's a video with the pictures of the medals. Like a video of what the medals look like. Mark Edward Vlasic quoted the tweet. Beautiful, right? At NHL.
Oh.
That's not a good idea.
Well, it's not the
sure-
NFL. He doesn't just get, framed
I'm sure
for
he
6
won't
games
be
suspension.
the only one.
No. Okay, moving on. Joffrey Lupul. So these teams go through medical examinations. Each player has to do it. It's literally the worst day for NHL players because they have to do a bunch of physical exams of just testing their body, putting their body to their limits, and making sure you're a healthy enough player. Because the goal of teams is you're essentially their property. Essentially.
They want to make sure you work.
They want to make sure you work and make sure that there's nothing wrong with you. And it's actually, as tough as it is, and I've seen some of the things they have to do, it is a difficult day. It's not a day that I would look forward to, and none of these guys do. But once it's over, it's the best day. Once it's done. But the goal is to pass. And unfortunately, Joffrey Lupul failed, according to the Toronto Maple Leaf doctors. Then he took to Instagram saying that he can hike up a mountain but can't pass a medical physical exam from the Toronto Maple Leafs. It is now escalated to the point where he's getting outside third-party testers to essentially test if he's medically okay to play hockey, if he can
But
be medically cleared.
He did not request that the NHL is
Yes.
making him do it.
Because he went to the NHLPA. Now, I'm completely fine with this. Reason being, I love Joffrey Lupul. As much as his contract kind of sucks, 5.25, I would take him in a heartbeat again because I know the level. If he could play the level of hockey that he played before he got hurt, I would take him in a heartbeat. He's such a good hockey player. And I think he'd be a good guy to have around in the room for the young guys. I would rather have him put up 15 points for 5.25 than have Matt Martin there to put up 9 points for 2.5. Even though that doesn't sound right, that's a disproportionate amount of points per dollar. I think Joffrey Lupul would be able to progress the players more than Matt Martin does. Personal opinion. If he's medically
cleared, what do the Leafs have to do? Because
they have to pay him his 5.25 and they don't get to use that as LTIR.
So they are over the cap.
No.
They
would
already
still
paid him last year. What are you talking about? LTIR, you still pay him.
No, you still get paid, but it gets put on your cap hit, right? So
that's
essentially
why.
right now, the Leafs would have close to, I think it's $10.5 million versus for cap relief, and they're only 5.2 over right now. So if Nathan Horton failing it, because I don't even think he went, because I still think his back's too messed up. So they already have 5.3 in cap relief from him through LTIR. So they're already under the cap. It just matters how much more under the cap they're going to be. These numbers, obviously, according to Cap Friendly, I'm not sure if Cap Friendly took into account the bonuses that all three rookies got last year. Connor Brown got and Nikita Zaitsev got, I believe. So it's going to be what they could still be over, which means that something might have. If Joffrey Lupul comes back, there might be a move that the Leafs might need to make. Because I think the reason why they signed Marleau was because there was no Lupul. Because they had the money there. But the bonus, the cherry on top for all this is Lupul's done at the end of the season. His contract's done. So whether or not they want to bring him back
doesn't really hurt them long term.
doesn't hurt them long term at all. And this is the other thing is whatever they do, and this is what I plead with Leafs management, whatever you do, don't make it have long lasting effects.
Yeah.
The Phil Kessel deal, long lasting effects. You got Kasperi Kapanen, and you have a $1.2 million overhang for the next 5 years still.
How much is left on his Lupul's contract?
1 year. No, I'm talking about the Phil Kessel deal.
Oh.
Because they got Phil Kessel. They got rid of Phil Kessel, but kept $1.2 million of his contract for the next, I think it was 8 years after that. That was great. That's fun. It's a good time. Might have been 7 years.
Okay.
Okay, 3 signings. Talk about quickly. We already touched on the Mikko Koivu signing.
2 years, 11 mil, 5.5 per.
Nikita Zadorov signed with the Colorado Avalanche, officially giving them 1/2 defenseman.
Yep. 2 years, 4.3, 2.15 average.
Would
What's-
love.
They have 1/2 defenseman.
Yeah, they have 1/2 defenseman. Zadorov counts as a half defenseman.
They have Tyson Berry. They have 1.5.
They have one full.
Tyson Berry's a half.
Yes. He
Two
doesn't play
offensive.
too much defense.
Yes. And last but certainly not least is obviously the David Pastrnak signing.
Yep.
6 by 6.66666.
Yep.
Is that what it is?
Beautiful bar because now you know where like the Nylanders sit. You know where everyone else kind of sits.
You know
It's
where
good
everyone's
for-
coming.
You have the top end and you have like the not incredible like.
It's good for the
McDavid
Jets
line.
because it drives Ehlers down.
Yes.
And probably Lightning down.
Because I think Draisaitl drove it up. Line is still getting.
I'd say I'd give him
3.5
this
million.
contract. I'd give him the exact, maybe not the years, but I'd give him that money.
Line?
6.5 or no? I thought we were talking about
Line is
Ehlers.
a different tier.
No, Ehlers.
Line
Sorry,
and
I thought you
Matthews
said.
are a different tier.
No,
These
I thought you
guys are
said-
a tier below.
I
I meant
both
Ehlers
of-
this contract.
If Matthews and
If the
Laine
Jets
sign
can get
for
Line A for 6.5, that'd be great. But that's not happening.
Matthews and Line is what?
for 6.5, that'd be great.
That'd be beautiful.
But it won't happen, unfortunately.
What I was gonna say? Let's see. Oh, injuries. Torrey Krug out for 3 weeks ish, like 3 and a bit weeks with the non-displaced fracture of the jaw. Got hit in the face of the puck the other day.
Ouch.
And Noah Jolson is out 6 weeks with a fractured foot for the Montreal Canadiens. They're gonna be bad, real bad.
Who's out?
Noah Jolson. You don't like Canada?
You know what I'm looking so forward to is I'm going to the game here between the Winnipeg Jets and the Montreal Canadiens, and I'm going to wear my Winnipeg Jets jersey. And I'm going to enjoy watching the Jets beat the living piss out of that team because I'm going to look up and I hope to goodness that I see Marc Bergevin inside the press box just so I can point and laugh. Because if I'm going to put the firing date on it.
Except Carey Price is going to play and set on his head and they'll win.
No,
I was gonna say, has Laine scored on Price yet?
I don't know. I don't think.
he will.
He will.
He will.
It's time.
Here's the thing, Marc Bergevin's job, I think, is either gonna, if it's all gonna depend on the first month of the season, I would be shocked if that team is out of a playoff spot come New York Thanksgiving that he still has a job.
Bergevin.
Bergevin.
Okay, fair. All right. Apparently the Red Wings are selling vials of melted ice from the Joe. You gonna buy one? 3,000 of them are being made.
How much?
I don't know. I didn't look into the price. I don't like collecting trash water, so I don't know.
I think that'd be kind of cool to have.
Dad doesn't like that one. Dad enjoyed.
But you visit sewers for tours.
What do you mean sewers for tours?
Saddle Dome.
Oh.
Dead? Those are fighting
That
words.
was funny.
Those are fighting words.
However, we have heard new news in that the city Calgary is willing to put 1/3 of the money to put in a new arena.
Apparently, they also pitched it to have it somewhere in Victoria Park. Is that a suburb or is that like a entire different city?
No, I would assume that's a suburb. Maybe it's in a park. I would assume.
Yeah,
Victoria
like
Park?
Sherwood Park, Edmonton.
Yeah,
But in
maybe.
Calgary, Victoria Park? That makes sense. Maybe. Have you guys seen, I got to tweet this, Ryan O'Reilly. He has skate guards
yes.
with wheels.
I've seen those.
Roller skates. Those are
Like little
sweet.
kids have them.
They're fantastic.
They're cool. Yeah, sure.
I like them.
Yeah.
Ian Cole's retiring after 13 seasons in the NHL.
Good for him.
Not bad.
Wasn't there another person that just retired too?
He played for 13 years.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah, Ian Cole.
He hasn't played the last couple of years, I don't think.
Yeah, he played.
Yeah, he played for
Did he?
Pittsburgh. He won the last 2
I
years.
didn't realize he
of
played
college.
for that
No.
long.
I wrote the wrong name down then. It's Eric Cole. My bad.
Oh yeah, he hasn't played
Yeah.
for. I say
Yeah.
I was gonna say I don't think
Eric
Ian
Cole,
Cole.
yes.
Also, Matt Collins played for 20 years.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought he played for like 10.
He's a 40-year-old man who looks like
He
he's 40.
played in the 90s.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep. I was right.
Crazy.
Roman Yossi named captain of the Preds. I said Yossi.
Who else? What else did we say?
I think you said. I think
Johansson?
we all said Yossi, to be honest.
I think I said Yossi.
We're all right. Damn it. Oh, did you see Corey Schneider went undercover and gave some kid a jersey?
No.
He was pretending to be like an usher, and he's like, "Hey, you need a new jersey." And then he pulled out a jersey and signed it and gave it to the kid, and the kid's like,
Need a-
Corey Schneider.
New Jersey.
Jesus.
Didn't one of their
oh,
players just get hurt in New Jersey?
Oh, New Jersey.
No,
we
not
should
yet.
probably talk about this.
Well, that's what I'm leading to. Yeah,
Brian
that's
Boyle.
Brian Boyle was diagnosed
yes.
as chronic myeloid
Leukemia.
leukemia. Oh, I was wondering. I was about to say Levkim. I don't know. That's my writing. Yeah. Apparently, he's aiming to play for in the season opener.
Because it's Brian Boyle, and it doesn't matter who tries to go, who or what goes at him. He's gonna fend them off.
From what I read about this,
It sucks.
It's cancer of the bone
the
marrow.
cancer is in his bone marrow. Apparently, the type he has is very treatable with medication. Usually, the results are good. You guys remember Jason Blake?
Yep.
This is the kind of cancer he had, and he apparently played through treatment, and he ended up being okay. So
Yeah, he played for the Leafs.
the prognosis is good. Apparently, they caught it early, which is a good sign. So you hope for the best and
It always sucks when you hear
hope
it. It
that
just
he
makes
can
you.
pull through and keep playing.
Yeah, Brian Boyle's such an asset. Even though I hate him so much when he doesn't play for the team that I cheer for, because he's just so good at what he does. He's the
probably
best fourth line center in the league.
You probably hate him even more now that he played for you and then left.
Yeah, even though the Leafs
Not
didn't
hate him,
sign
but you hate when you play against them because you're like,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
man,
Yeah, no, that's exactly. He's the
guy you
he's the
want on your
prototy-
team, but you don't want to play against.
Exactly. He's
Yeah,
a prototypical. You want on your team, you don't want to play against him. Anything else? I believe somebody else retired, didn't they?
Eric Cole.
So remember how we were talking about Chicago's defense?
Yep.
Yeah, well, they only had 5 defensemen signed going into the season.
Who's the 5?
Michael Roosevelt failed his physical.
Yeah, but who's the 5?
Seabrook Keith, Connor Murphy, Roosevelt, and someone from the minor leagues. Those
Vili Polka.
Yeah, but Roosevelt failed his physical. So they're down to 4. They have Cody Franson on a PTO. They had Mark Stewart on a PTO, which I didn't even know, but he got released today.
Yeah, they just they just released him.
So Cody Franson probably makes the team, but I still think their D is just a nightmare.
This would have happened, I believe, after last show, which Vernon Fiddler also retired. That was the person. Yeah,
Right on. He was always enjoyable.
he was.
Yeah.
Dallas Stars, played for the Nashville Predators.
He had some funny off-ice, or like on-ice, off-ice type situations.
Was
He would
he
just
the-
make funny faces and stuff.
Wasn't he
You
the
know-
guy that like made fun of Vino when they were playing the Canucks one game?
Yeah.
because he was
and
like,
Vigneault started laughing.
yeah,
Yeah.
like facially, he was like,
No, he was making fun of Kessler, wasn't he?
is that what it was?
Or was he? Lapierre. That's who he was making fun of, I'm
yeah.
pretty sure.
But Vigneault was at the game because Vigneault
Yeah.
was laughing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was laughing
Because Lapierre played for Vancouver.
because I think Fiddler played for Vancouver. Didn't he?
Oh my god.
No, it was when
No.
Fiddler was in Arizona.
Oh, okay.
Oh jeez.
I also, looking through these retirement page, didn't realize Kevin Klein retired, or
Yeah.
Andrew Ferentz.
Kevin Klein retired a couple months ago.
Yeah, they both retired in
He
July.
wasn't that old either.
No, I'm a little shocked with Kevin Klein. Regardless, anything else, Cam?
No, I got nothing else. I'm getting real jacked up because like look at the blue ink. We have notes now about hockey. We have notes.
Stuff.
I know. It's a big
We have
deal.
we have stuff to talk about. There's stuff every evening. Highlights are back on. Jay and Dan are back in our
I
life.
haven't watched them yet. Are they good?
They're Jay and Dan, yeah. They're enjoyable. They make watching sports highlights not as mundane. Like I'm actually
Let me
listening
rephrase
to
it.
what they're saying.
I know who they are.
Yeah.
I haven't watched them since they come back.
Yeah, no, I picked up on that. Yeah, for sure. But no, I'm excited that sports highlights hockey highlights are back in my life. Because
I got to sit down and watch a little bit of a hockey game on TV tonight. That was great.
yeah, I've seen. Well, you know what? I'm just getting highlights. I'm loving it. I like it. I like hockey highlights.
It'll be good when the real thing starts in a week and a half.
Oh yeah. Ooh, mama. Ooh, that's gonna be good.
I guess 2 weeks. Just under 2 weeks.
Yep. Wait, what day is it?
It's a Wednesday because is the 4th the day the league opens.
Yep.
First game, number 1. We talked about it.
Oh, that's
NHL
right,
Network,
Jets,
everything. Jets, Leafs. You know what? Do it. Start Steve Mason.
Hey.
Do it.
Guys, just a quick update.
Yeah.
Colorado's beating Dallas 4-0. Chicago absolutely dismantled Detroit 6-1 right now.
No
Can
surprise.
Colorado beat their point total in preseason from last year? Like of the regular season? Is it possible?
48 points.
Oh, they had 48.
And New Jersey beat Montreal. So things are going according to plan. And we all know how Philadelphia did, again,
Did they lose again?
in overtime.
The only
Hey, baby!
Cam
You know what?
knows-
I expect nothing less. If Philly's going to lose, make it in overtime.
Cam knows what I'm going to say. It's a different sport, but I'm going to say it.
Go.
Minnesota Vikings
The
said.
Detroit Lions went 4-0 in the preseason in 2007. They went 0-16 in the regular season that year. So preseason literally means nothing.
Whoa.
Oh, for
They went 4-0
for
in
the
the
Jets,
preseason.
For the Jets.
No, just in general.
Yeah.
They went 4-0 and they didn't win a game all year.
So Flyers are going undefeated.
I'm
in the
just saying
regular
it means
season?
nothing.
No, I
You're
just.
trying to read too much into it. I'm just saying.
Oh
literally,
no, yeah. I'm
means
very
nothing.
excited. They already made a few cuts. I'm liking the way the team's shaping up
Yeah,
to be.
Gudis on the fucking
Yes, he's on the team. He's their best
AHL
defenseman.
team,
What are you
right?
talking about? How dare you?
that.
Man, he should probably go
that's
play
your
for the
problem right there.
Phantoms.
What do you mean he's their? What's that?
Phantoms.
No.
Lee Valley Phantoms.
If he's
The
their
High
best
Valley
defenseman,
Phantoms?
you guys are in
I thought it
trouble.
was the Lee Valley.
Lahai.
It's spelled Lee, but it's Lehigh.
Oh, man, are people in Pennsylvania weird?
Why?
You could say
I've
they're-
never been there. I can't really speak for them.
You could say they're Lehigh.
And on that note,
Please subscribe to us
I mean, with this hard-hitting content,
on YouTube. You can check us out there at Last Minute Podcast, as well as wherever you get your podcasts, whether that be through the iTunes or through Google Play. Just look up Last Minute Podcast, and you'll be able to find us there. You can also tweet us at Last Minute PC or email the show at lastminutepc@gmail.com. Remember to comment on YouTube and say why you decided to watch this video, because we're always interested. No comments this week, though.
no.
Please,
I checked,
somebody
I
comment.
checked the email.
Cameron,
I checked comments.
it's time to
For Luke?
reopen Luke.
Yeah,
Start
bring
it
him
up
back.
again,
Okay,
yeah.
let's see what I can do.
No, I feel like now that hockey's back, people might actually start
yeah,
listening.
they'll start crawling back.
Start commenting. I
know
feel
what I-
like people listen, they just don't comment. They're too busy doing things. They have us on the go, and they're like, I'm gonna listen to some Last Minute podcast on the go, but I'm not gonna comment because I've got too much other stuff going on.
Right now, if you made it this far and you're listening, wherever you are, what are you looking at right now? Comment.
Computer.
No, what if
Phone.
you know what I thought of? A red apple.
Protein powder.
Because you're an asshole.
A red apple?
Yeah. You never heard the saying, if you eat an apple, you're an asshole?
No, I
just
heard
like-
that
It's the
apple a
classic-
day keeps the
Is
doctor
that
away.
really a saying? Or
Like, have
did
you
just
ever
make that up?
ever watched a movie? Villain's always eating an apple because he's an asshole. Watch it.
I do eat
Watch.
apples, so.
You are a villain.
He was
Or am I an
wearing
asshole?
red too.
Watch CinemaSins, and you guys will understand it. Essentially,
Watch
watch
what?
CinemaSins on YouTube.
Okay.
It's
Probably won't, but
great content.
Okay.
I will tell you that right now.
All right.
Just like this was.
Yep.
Check us out next week.